Good morning students. This is your last part of your chapter 4, that is the fertilization. So before going to fertilization, here we will see the diagram of the pollen grain. So this is the pollen grain. It has two cover, outer exine, inner intine, and inside two nucleus, that is generative nucleus and tubular nucleus. So here this is the structure of carpel. So this is the part of stigma. Here that pollen grains landing during pollination, and this is the style, long tubular structure, and this solen part is the ovary. So here when pollen grains fall on the stigma during germination, this pollen grain starts to forming the pollen tube. So how it is? Now here pollination brings male and female gametophytes, that is sex cells, together, and germination of pollen grain on the stigma and swells means bulges out to produce a pollen tube by breaking down exine. So this is the exine. So here it is the pollen grain, and this is the pollen tube, and it forms on the stigma. So after the formation of pollen tube, this tube enters the ovary through the micropyle. So this is the micropyle. This part is the micropyle, means this is the hole or the pore like structure present at the base of this embryonic sac. And this when pollen tube enters inside this embryonic sac, this two nucleus inside it is already there inside the embryonic sac. The generative nucleus undergoes mitosis and produces two male gametes or two nuclei. So this two male nuclei entered into the embryonic sac. So this is a pollen grain, pollen tube, now consisting two nuclei, and that two nuclei entered into the embryonic sac. Now one nucleus fuses with egg to form zygote, and the second nucleus fuses with diploid secondary nucleus and forms endosperm. So what is that endosperm? The endosperm is the food storing tissue in the seed. So here in your book, page number 51, it is given all detail about the fertilization. So here this fusion is called fertilization, and this fertilization is called double fertilization and triple fusion. So what is the meaning of double fertilization? Now as this process involves the fusion of two male gametes separately, one with egg and other with the secondary nucleus, this process is called double fertilization, means two times it is fertilized. Since three nuclei are involved in this fusion, it is called triple fusion. As a result, a diploid zygote and a triploid endosperm nucleus are formed. The zygote divides several times and forms an embryo, while the endosperm nucleus grows to form the endosperm. So this is all about the fertilization. And after that, after fertilization, after the formation of this seed, the ovule develops into a seed, and embryo with a supply of nutrients in the seed coat has some changes. So what are the changes? Now here it is giving following fertilization, the sepals, petals, style and stigma degenerate, means disintegrates or disappear and usually fall off. The ovary wall ripens and forms the pericarp of the fruit. That means the ovary changes into fruit, and the